Having said that, Councillor Cook made very clear a lot of work to reaffirm a decision that had already been made, and that future collection systems wouldn't be looked at without the appropriate dollars in government funding. But I will say anything I've seen in the executive summary and just leaping through, we have a report here that makes a case for septic systems for now and in the future in high-density residential area right beside Lake Huron with no apparent expert or professional input. Expert and professional input seems to or appears to have been kept at arm's distance throughout this entire process. That's just an observation and a personal opinion only. I am concerned that the report doesn't consider the long-term impact of the phosphorus and nitrates moving into the lake. Yes, I agree, partnerships need to occur with the county to move forward with inspection plans that would be happening anyway, regardless of whether we did this process or not. And I guess I just refer us all to the most recent edition of Municipal World, Canada's Infrastructure Deficit. And there is an article and a comment here about it was a campaign called Think Long-Term Ontario. That does not include land and shores.
Any more discussion on the motion to receive and file? Refer to the EA program.
So the issue here is whether to receive and file or to whether or not to, well, I know, I mean, why throw out the baby with the bathwater? I mean, an awful lot of the, you're right, a lot of this report was very well public knowledge of the rest, but they took all the public information of the rest, brought it together on one report, so people may be able to understand the issue. And one of the big things in here was about communication. What are we going to communicate if we just receive and file? And what harm is it going to do to have this out there as a working document that we can use as a bit of a guideline? I agree. Some of the things in there, I believe I'd rather have some more expert opinion just for the engineering aspect and this, that, and the other. But it's something we've got to take in consideration that was brought out by the citizens, and it was pretty well communicated. I mean, there was public meetings, all the rest of it. So it's information that's been brought forward. I'm not going to support having a receiving copy. I didn't answer the question. Sorry, I did a Ruth.
We can receive and file, and we can also have ask for a recommendation on how the 7 recommendations are implemented through a report from staff on timelines of implementing the recommendations. Councilor.
Well, I support the motion for one simple reason. Tonight we're receiving and filing, and thanking Carl, and I think that the committee should be thanked again for whatever's been said. Personally, I believe that there's a lot of work that could fall from it, and I think what we need to do is we need to have people review that to figure that out. And I would easily, myself, I've got 3 written down right here. I could bring resolutions to council in the next couple of weeks just for the fun of it. The reality of it is right now, though, we receive and file it tonight. I don't have any problem with receiving and filing it tonight, but my reasons have to do with building, not with filing, because that's not what we're doing as far as I'm concerned. I think to make any motions tonight would be completely ludicrous. I mean, we just received a big package here. I haven't read it. I think it should be received and filed. That's a normal procedure.
Any other questions? All in favor of the motion? Motion carried.
I'll make a ludicrous motion. What I would like is to start a working group off. I'll go back to the 3 ward councillors and Dr. Belke and the CAO. I would like to form that exploratory group ASAP because of the time elements with, well, just an exploratory group. Say, where do we go from here? What do we take with us? And then I guess we could go have a report through staff to council, but I'd like to get that one off of the starting gate, so I'm going to move that.
I'll second that, and then let's talk.
Okay, second by Councilor Underwood. Discussion, go ahead.
I think it's very important that if there is something that's been identified that can be an amazing partnership for possibly this issue or other issues or evolving issues when you're talking about first-rate higher education. You're right, we've got to try and go for that. If there's nothing in there, if there's nothing in it, fair enough, let's find out. It's easier to go in and find out what we can do, what partners we can have, versus an, oh geez, you know what, I wish we did that. So,
Councilor Owen.
Okay, Councilor Russell just made a very common sense observation. We have this whole package here, we just moved to receive and file, but you also said that you can see 2 or 3 things that you would immediately come forward with resolutions. And rather than another working group, if there are resolutions that are going to come forward, then for heaven's sakes, let's make the resolution and direct staff to move forward with the action.
that's what we're doing.
Not another working group, direct staff to move forward with implementing a resolution.
Councilor Scott.
Amazing report. I haven't read it. I'm looking forward to checking it out and seeing what it has to say. There's been many things said today that are interesting, and whether I agree or not agree, after I've read this, I'll be able to know one way or the other. Fleming College is also very interested in our area. I've had a number of phone calls with several people there, and because of the uniqueness of what we have, we run the lake. They would very much like to be part of it, and due to the fact that we are looking at alternatives, I would like that somehow to be added into the suggestion that not only do we look at a partnership with University of Guelph, we also look at Fleming College, because they have the working part of the research part, sort of thing, of what the university would have. Just a suggestion.
Councilor Russell.
Well, apologize for ludicrous, but I'll talk to this ludicrous motion. It's not ludicrous. I think it's premature. I think I'd rather send a resolution to staff asking to investigate Arkell, amongst others. Obviously, Arkell, which I've never heard of really until the meeting in December. I think you mentioned that the open house. Did you not? I think, Carl, when you did the presentation. I'd never heard of it, Arkell, before, but I've never heard of Fleming either. You know, to me, I think it's timely in the sense of asking staff to report back to us immediately. How do we get to these people? How do we entertain some form of communication to them, and do it ASAP? Because this is the time of year everybody in colleges and universities are getting to that point where they're planning for the fall.
Yeah.
This is the time of the year to be doing these things. So obviously communication would be timely right now. But in terms of just the Arkell,
Councilor Buster.
I'll speak to my historical perspective, without boring you. Having worked through the post-secondary system, Dr. Belke is the same. We understand how universities have opportunities, and we understand that when the iron is hot, you have to strike. We're not talking about setting up a formal agreement. We're talking about the counselors, Councillor McGuire and I in particular being 2 that have been impacted by this hugely. I've got a meeting to go to at Huron Woods Community Center tomorrow to talk about the latest in the sewage treatment saga. So this is something that if we sit on this, we're not talking about signing a deal. We're talking about exploring the door, and I'm not comfortable with just leaving it up to staff. I'm comfortable working with staff on it, because the post-secondary beast, as Dr. Belke will attest, is a very unique beast. We have an in here, and I think we should explore that in. That's all I'm saying, is to explore it. I think there has to be a political perspective put on this, because this issue has become hugely political. And I'm just saying we do the exploratory stuff with staff, and we may come back with a recommendation to council in a few weeks or in a month that says this is what staff is going to prepare for us to look at. But I think to let this go and say, well, staff will look at it, I don't know what they would know to look at.
Councilor Cook.
Well, I think you just said it clearly. We have no idea what we're looking at. We don't even have any plan going forward for a sewage treatment plant. Right now, we've already made a mandate from our council. We're not moving forward with sewers in zone 3 and 4. So to put this kind of partnership in place with another place is not necessary.